What is up, y'all? It is your host, Rennie, and you're listening to another episode of the Call Me Crazy podcast. That's why I bought them. What happened to your nails?
They look real bright. I'm so sad. Girl, I took them off and I was like, I'm going to go.
They look really healthy.
Oh, you didn't see these?
Okay, a little bit worse, but these are good. These look great.
These are good. These are giving go now.
Honestly, I love the natural look. I love it. I love a natch nail sometimes.
Natch nail, girl. These need Jesus.
Yeah. No, I've seen like really bad ones though, like you know, like different layers are peeled off, like just not looking good at all. Like
I thought of you this morning. I was like, oh my god, we were just talking about this. So welcome to my home. Nobody ever comes here. I feel like my house, like it's so sacred to me and so special. Like literally, like nobody. Not that I don't let them come over, but it's like, this is my space. So, welcome.
Wow, I feel so honored.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're the first person to come over this new place.
Yeah? Oh my gosh. Well, shoot, I should have brought something. My goodness.
Stop. No, stop it.
So, today I'm here in Mandy's beautiful home.
Yay.
And what is your preferred name?
It doesn't matter. Amanda, Mandy, same thing. Mandy, my family calls me Mandy, so.
Okay.
Whatever you feel comfortable with is fine with me.
Alrighty. So I found Mandy through a friend, actually. My friend Michaela sent me your page and was like, listen, this girl makes dope jewelry. This has to be like at least a year ago now. You know, this girl makes dope handmade jewelry. I think you should like reach out to her, model for her, you know, just, you know, reach out. And so I did, and I started following you, and I was like just so impressed by your presence, your marketing, and all that your page encompassed. It was lovely to follow. And I don't follow people that I don't know. I don't follow celebrities hardly ever unless I really like them. Right. So I was like, but I gotta have her on my timeline, like, because the page was just so amazing to watch. And even like, you know, I didn't make a purchase, but for so long I was just enjoying your content. Yeah.
Being part of the community.
So tell me a little bit about Anita & Co.
So Anita & Co was born 2 years ago. Gonna be 3 years in August, late August.
She's a Leo like me.
Yeah, she is. What can I say about Anita & Co? We're very Latina oriented. Our earrings are made with lots of love, laughter, and a pinch of Puerto Rican seasoning. I feel like I feel like my culture is super important to me, so I like to bring that out in my, in all my pieces and in my work. So I'm obviously the founder. My mom is my partner. She is the other creative half of Anita & Co, and we have lots of fun. When it starts to feel like work, I'm like, you know what, I'm done for the day. I don't ever want Anita & Co to feel like work. It's like, to me, I want it to be, I don't know, it's therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic after a long day of work. I'm a school counselor by day, so I'm like itching to get out of work, to just be like, just to go home and just to be like, now I get to create, now I get to just ease my mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's amazing, because I quite honestly, I found your jewelry page first. So I didn't know about your personal page until actually a couple months ago. And found your jewelry page first and just assumed this was the only thing she whoever was the owner
Yeah.
was, you know, was doing, like, because you don't really mention that side of your life, you being a counselor on the actual, you know, makes sense, on the jewelry page. So when I figured that out, I was like way more impressed by your work and how, you know, flawless it is. Yeah, no, seriously. And I'm wearing something right now, baby. I'm like, I feel something jingling. I'm trying to get into jewelry more because I don't, you know, set aside a budget for it. I don't think about it. But like, just with this, you know, ensemble, for example, like it really just, I feel like it brings it all together.
It's the cherry on top of the cake, dude.
It's really the cherry on top. And I like how the earrings with my short hair, now that I have short hair, I've had long hair all my life, it kind of feels like I could just do this. I could just do earrings. I don't feel like I need to do a necklace right now or anything here. I've got tattoos, so I feel like that like is a little bit of self-expression. But yeah, I love your earrings. I love your earrings. Did you start with earrings?
Yeah, I started with earrings. Oh, I should have brought. So my first pair ever, I have them in my office.
We'll do some B-roll.
Yeah.
We'll insert some clips.
They're tassel earrings. And so I think I told you this before, but when I started at Co., I just loved earrings, right? But I had never made a pair ever. But so my husband, he was like, you keep buying all of these earrings, you might as well just start making them. And he planted this seed, and I'm like, you're crazy. But then a couple days later, I created the Instagram page without ever making an earring. And so I was like, Mom, we're gonna do this, whatever. I went to Michael's, I got some cheap material, and it took us 4 hours to make our first ever earring. And we were watching on YouTube. We kept pausing. We're like, oh my God, this is so hard. But we kept practicing, and obviously it got easier. But yeah.
And have you always been crafty? Like, what was your like confidence going in?
Right. So I was always a crafty DIY person. I'm a pretty creative person. So I feel like that's what, and my mom is too. Like she's all DIY. Like she's always doing projects around the house, and I saw that growing up. So I think that she's the one that inspired me to be how I am. So yeah, that's how it came about. I mean, obviously I don't have any background in jewelry making by any means. No background in business by any means. Just go with the flow. Do whatever, you know.
That's incredible. Just learn as you go.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Anita is your mom's name, right?
It's my mom's middle name and my middle name. We share a middle name.
I love that.
Yeah, it's special.
Well, that's incredible. Where else does your art shine through? Anywhere else?
What do you mean?
Like, where was your artistic outlet before Anita & Co.?
I love photography.
Oh my God.
I love, like I never went to school for it, but I have a camera, and I loved, and I still do love taking pictures. I feel like that was my creative outlet. It was never like makeup, clearly.
Yeah.
It was never makeup. It was never like hair. Can't do my hair to this day.
Well, it looks fucking
wash
phenomenal.
and go. Wash and go, boo. So I feel like that was my creative outlet, like just going for walks and like taking pictures of things.
Yeah, because I did notice that too. I was like, did this girl like just have a photographer out of the gate taking her photos? Because like
wish.
The flat laser would have had me
really
dead dying.
Dude, that's a freaking iPhone.
Stop.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll show you all my paper too. Yeah.
Like the food with the whatever that collection was.
Yeah, Borinquen collection. My mom happened to be, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go over to your house because you have a bunch of like plants and stuff that I can use as props. I went over and she was cooking. I was like, sis, make me a plate. I'm gonna use that for a prop because it was Borinquen collection, which is Puerto Rican collection. And so that's how that came about. It wasn't even planned. I was like, oh, you cooking? Give me some.
Oh,
I'm gonna use it.
So it was after the collection was already made.
Yeah, so we made all of the materials, and I was I hadn't launched yet, but I was taking pictures, you know, like of all of my earrings, and that's how that came about. It was literally not planned. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Good. It was so
She just happened to be cooking. I was like,
it was so visually pleasing. I loved it. Yay. And also just different because it's like, there's, I mean, probably hundreds of thousands, there's probably millions of people making jewelry, right? Yeah. And especially with the e-commerce space, flat lays get real boring. And that was, especially from a photographer's point of view, just really fun.
That's true. Yeah. So, also, one more thing I would love to plug in is that one thing that I make sure of is that my jewelry is always accessible to everyone. Yes. So I want everything to be affordable. I want to always have a sale section. $10, get a cute pair of earrings. Everybody should be like able to feel beautiful. You know what I mean? I don't feel that's my goal. Like, I don't want to go on a page and you hear, like you said the last time, you hear handcrafted, handmade, and you're like, oh shoot, this must be expensive. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I have to be fair, and I just want everybody to be able to wear it. So. And
shame on me for not looking, because quite honestly, that's why I had spent so long just watching. Yeah. Because I just assumed, and when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. You assume that it would be expensive, and I was like, you know what? When I'm ready to spend $30 to $40 on 1 to 2, like, I might want to get 3. Like, I love these earrings, So I was just like, let me hold off until I'm ready. And then once I was ready, I was like, oh, I'm getting 4 pairs of earrings. Yeah. This could have been like a subscription plan at this point. Absolutely. Because it's so affordable. I think I got like 1 or 2 pieces off of the sale, and then I just shopped like your current collection. But I mean, they're just so fun. They're so flirty. They put a fun, flirty. They put a flair. Like, I just like all the F's. I love it. And so, that's how I heard of and met Mandy, was through Anita & Co. and just that connection. But I had no idea until you were posting thermostat photos that you are a
Don't even remind me. Don't even remind me. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my God. Shout out to every single person in the school system, because
God bless all of you.
God bless all of you. God bless you. God bless your husband. God bless all of you. God bless all my teachers, my counselors, because I have left the non-climate control life. I haven't gone back to a building that didn't have AC or proper like just climate control in a really long time.
Probably since you graduated.
Yeah, and thinking about like 8 hours in that, like,
I know. It's crazy. It's a lot.
It's also, okay, so how do we expect teachers to teach, counselors to counsel, but how do we expect kids to learn? Now that I'm thinking of it, like,
how do you expect kids to learn if teachers are burnt out, they treat it like garbage, they're not working in like
physically
88 degrees
physically
in the
burnt out?
No.
Physically, like,
it's bad. It's really bad. Thank God for summer.
Oh my God.
And switching districts. I'm switching districts, so I'm so excited. So excited.
Wow. But I mean, it's just really crazy, because it's like you take a kid who already doesn't want to learn, maybe, and then they're hot and agitated. Well, then fuck it. To hell with it. To hell with it.
Yep.
Oh my God.
It's bad.
So what did you specifically go to school for in order to be a school counselor?
So I got my master's from NYU, New York.
Hello.
In school counseling. So I'm certified K through 12. I did my internship at a high school. I thought I wanted to do high school. I love high school kids. When I was in high school, I said I would never work with high school kids. They're so mean. No, they're amazing. They're the best. And I looked for jobs in Norwalk, couldn't find anything. So I ended up taking a job in a middle school. I thought I was going to hate middle school. Loved it. So it's actually a K through 8 school. Okay. So I was exposed to elementary and middle. It was great. And now I'm going to work at an elementary. So
incredible.
Yeah.
So what does your day look like?
Oh God. So okay. At my old school district, you just never knew what you were going to get every single day. You just walked in. I have a lengthy to-do list. There's weeks that I couldn't even touch one thing because I get there. Oh, Miss Davis, you're needed. There's a crisis that needs your attention. all day, every day. And if it wasn't a crisis, it was like kids fighting and having groups to try to like fix the situation. And a lot of times it got to the point though, like towards the middle and end of the year, that kids are like, oh, I can escape class and hang out with Miss Davis and work on drama every day and get out of class. So it was like a lot of that towards the end. A lot of mental health things. Oh my God. So I specialized as a school counselor. I worked with 504s. So that's an accommodation plan for students with anxiety, depression, ADHD. You had a 504? Awesome.
It didn't help me.
It didn't?
No.
Really? What do you remember what accommodations you had in place?
So I remember the main one being like more time on things, and that just translated to me like more time to freak out.
Really?
Because like my anxiety, like I could have been a straight A student if I never had to take a test in my life, right? Because I had the best projects, I had the best essays, I had the best notes. My teachers would be like, if you want to know what you have to do here, look at Rennie's paper. If you want to, But I would sit down for a test and it would just go blank.
It's nerve-wracking.
Blank.
Testing is awful.
So my mom advocated for me and I got a 504, and the biggest thing that I remember was just more time, and I was like, more time is not going to give me anything. Like I can't remember. More time is not going to just put it back in my brain. Like, so I would get A's and B's on everything and get D's and F's on my tests and average out to like B's and C's because of it.
So your diagnosis is anxiety, right?
Yes, it is clinical depression and anxiety.
So if you were in my school, I'd probably give you a permanent pass to the school counselor or social worker, maybe prior notice of testing quizzes, aside from extra time. What else? Breaking down projects. There's so many things that can be put in place, but I mean, dang, I didn't realize like that made you even more anxious. Yeah, having that extra time.
It's like it's already blank. So for me to just sit here and continue to know that it's just blank is like,
that's so crazy.
I'm grasping at nothing in my mind. So it's not like giving me more time to do so would ease anything. It just makes me sit there for longer and freak out.
Wow.
Yeah. So tests were really hard for me, and they still are. They still would be.
Well, honestly, and then they keep pushing this standardized testing, which is awful. Like, it makes kids freak even more. Yeah. Like, we had to give the 8th graders SATs, and they were like panicking. They're like, oh my God, is this going to affect my college? I'm like, what? You're in 8th grade. What are you talking? Just take the test. Don't worry about it. It means nothing. Like, it's so bad. They keep giving these kids all these tests. Like, for what?
I don't think it's setting everyone out for the greatest of success. I think school teaches a lot of things, but I think the things that it teaches aren't even on purpose.
Right.
Time management, self-discipline, things of that nature are great to take with you, but the pressure of it all, the scarcity mindset on just like, I don't know.
All that math stuff that we learned in high school, I have not used a day in my life.
I don't even know if I could evoke it out if I tried. No, definitely not, because I was also cheating in math too, because I was it's my memory. So math is just a memory-based thing. You need to know the formula. You know the formula. You know how to get through the problem. If you can't remember the formula, you're fucked.
Messed up.
So what? I don't need more time to know I don't know the formula. It's not coming.
I hate math so much. Oh my God, it's awful.
It's awful. It's awful, and it's even more awful now that we've had like calculators built into our...
Oh my God, there's kids, dude, there's 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders in my school. They would get math assignments, and then I would see them like taking a picture of it. I guess there's an app that it solves equations for you. Where was that when I was a kid?
Well, in the future.
I'm like, what? It's amazing.
Yeah, I also I think I got an ad for an app that like if you take a picture of something and like reads it out loud to you, it's
so
just
easy now.
Let's teach the kids some life lessons. They're gonna cheat their way through it anyways.
I agree.
Whether it's
teach
on
them how
the
to
palm
research things,
or it's now on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's literally. Well, I have one girl that came to mind, like extreme anxiety to the point where she wanted to like, she was self-harming. She wanted to be gone, but she was a type. She was like she's such a perfectionist. It like cripples her. She's so freaking smart. I think she was runner-up for the valedictorian, I believe. So freaking smart. But we had to end up calling mobile crisis because she's like, you know what, I don't want to live anymore. Like I can't do this. So clearly we didn't feel that she was safe to go home. We had to call to mobile crisis 211. They came, they assessed, they sent her to the hospital. Like it was crazy. And that's a very common thing. I would say, well, at my school, at my previous school, it was a common thing calling 211, like constantly, like all the time.
I didn't even know. I think I knew what 211. What is 211?
211. It's mobile crisis. So basically, you call them. There's and it's not just for students. It's for like any. I can call 211 on you right now. Like I have my friend. Like she's not doing well. Please, someone.
So what's the difference between 911? Like what should you not?
So 211 is. What's the difference? So 211 it's just the agency that we call. I believe so. We have to get parental consent to have them come out to assess. 911 obviously is the cops, whatever. But they are an agency that they come and they assess if the student is safe to, go home, or do they have to be brought to the hospital, to the psych floor. I've had kids who were there for months. I had a student who literally drank bleach. He was like, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. Drank a whole thing of bleach. Luckily, he didn't die. And he was there for months. But then he came back this year. He turned it around. I was so, I cried like a baby when he graduated. He got into a good high school. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So awesome. So cool.
How, not to make this about me, but I'm hearing these stories and it's always been my goal to at some point get into public speaking because I was the little girl who was cutting herself. I was the little girl who was screaming, crying, had outside factors that were definitely big triggers and trauma, but also an element to it where it was if I had the greatest of lives, I probably would still feel a level of this. And I would just love to somehow talk to these kids because I too dealt with suicidal thoughts and ideations for years. I was in and out of hospitals. And I just I want to talk to kids.
I think the way you could get into that is probably volunteering with agencies, DCF, Child and Family, whatever, I forgot
services,
Child and Family, FCA, wait, hold on. Whatever.
CFS or
Child and Family Agency. Yes, CFA. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I should know that. There's so many, just ask, I just want to help. What can I do? And I'm sure there's stuff that you could do. And then, if you tell them that you're pursuing a future in mental health or whatever, I'm sure you could do something with it.
I will. Thank you for letting me know the first steps, absolutely. How I should go about it. Yeah.
Or just even starting your own thing. You already are. But asking schools if you can come and speak, talking to kids, empowering them, having a auditorium full of kids and telling them what you went through. Not too young, maybe middle school, high school. That would be amazing.
Yeah, maybe I go back to my middle school.
Didn't you say you were close to one of your teachers?
Yeah, that's elementary. So she was my elementary guidance school counselor, and I'm still
That's
close
so
with
cool,
her.
dude, because in Norwalk I didn't have a school counselor. And
In elementary?
in elementary, no.
Are you sure you just didn't know about it?
No, we literally, they're just implementing it now. Like, I'm one of the first school counselors now in Norwalk in the elementary school level. It
Do
wasn't
you know
even
if that's a
thing.
Connecticut thing?
No, because in Bridgeport, they have school counselors in the elementary school. I guess it depends on the town.
Yeah, interesting.
But Norwalk never had it. But I guess after COVID, all of these like mental health things, like they're like, we need support badly.
Wow.
But it's awesome.
But I have you here, and I'm looking at my beautiful t-shirt on your beautiful body, and we're doing the Give Yourself Grace series. So this series is all about mental health, and once I knew that not only were you an advocate, you do this every day for a living, you do this.
I just do this.
I wanted to talk to you more about it. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so special.
And do you talk about your work often, or is it something where like you go in, you leave, and you kind of put your hat on the shelf, and it's like, you know, now I'm home, I can be present, I'm kind of like leaving it at the door kind of thing? Or
That's a really good question, because I feel like this year especially was so hard on so many different levels. Not only am I just a shiny new counselor, it's year 2 for me. Now it's going to be year 3 in the fall. But I feel like this year I did what I had to do. I was working hard. Like, I got there an hour early and I left 3 hours later.
Wow.
And I was like to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm leaving my work here. I'm going home. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be running my business. But I hope that this year I have a better work situation. Well, I know it's going to be, because I had at my other school, I had 1,100 students. Typically, a school counselor is supposed to have 250 kids on their caseload. I had, 4 times and a half?
That's crazy.
I can't do math.
Yeah,
clearly.
me either. So you saw me not even trying.
So at this school, I have 400 kids. So much more manageable. So hopefully, I would love to do school counseling related, mental health related stuff outside of work, now that I feel like I'm not going to be as burnt out at my job. Because I'm passionate about it. Like, I want to help people. I want to help kids especially. But how can you do that when you're so like...
No, you can't. When you have nothing to give, that's just it.
Yeah.
That's just it. What got you interested in the field? Was it your own struggles, or what was it?
So I always knew that I wanted to work with kids. And initially, I wanted to be like a preschool teacher. I got my associates.
You're very preschool teacher vibes. You were like the cutest, like sweetest.
It was so fun.
In a sundress. I mean,
yes,
what is Matilda's teacher's name? You would Miss Honey. Miss Honey is right here.
So initially, I wanted to be a preschool teacher. I got my associates. I knew I had to get, like, obviously more degrees to be in the school system. So while I was doing my bachelor's, I was working as a para with special needs students. And while I was doing that, I got an opportunity to have my own after-school program at a high school. Initially, I was like, absolutely not. No. It was my old English teacher, very still involved with, like, in my life. She's amazing. So she gave me the opportunity. She's like, I think you'd be great. Like, you're such a great example to these kids, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, fine. So I developed like a whole after school program. It's called Blooming to Fruition, a teenager's guide. So every week we would talk about different things. One week we'd talk about sex. The next week about drugs, peer pressure, just like basic stuff, goal setting. And since like the first the group that we had, I was like, oh my God, I love high school. I freaking love high school. But I don't want to teach them. I absolutely don't want to teach them. How can I be a good influence? How can I help these kids without being in the classroom all day? So I was like looking it up. I was like, social work, but I don't know if I want to deal with IEP. So an IEP is an individualized education plan for SPED students, special ed students. I was like, I don't want to do that. That's like a lot. And then I just thought about it. I was like, oh my God, school counseling. Looked up a bunch of different programs. NYU was online. And I just had to go for one class. I had to go to New York. So I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. So that's what got me into school counseling. I just wanted to help kids, but I did not want to be in the classroom.
I love that. Making a difference.
Yeah, man.
Still, in a place where it really counts. I mean, in the classroom, of course it does, but having somewhere to go, like you said, an escape from the classroom, like, if I can remember anything about Mrs. Amada, it was like when I was feeling anxious, I could go down there
Anytime.
And she's no bullshit. She is not, oh yeah, come hang out, be in a beanbag chair and that's it. No, she'll have you do something or make sure you're like engaged. If she's having groups, she'll have you go into that group that day or what have you. But it was, again, just a safe space away from the classroom. That's needed as well.
You don't know how many times kids come into my office and they're like, they sit down, they're like, oh, it's so peaceful in here. I'm like, girl, that's prayer. That's the prayer that happens in here. Like, they're like, oh my God, it's so relaxing. I never want to leave. You're so, oh, Miss Davis, please, can I stay? I'm like, no, you gotta go learn. Like, you can't be with me all day. But that's like my goal. I just want kids to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel like they have people who care about them, because a lot of times they don't have that at home. They go home, there's no food in the fridge. They don't go home, their parents are not home till midnight because they're working, they're busting their chops to make ends meet, you know? A lot of times that's all they want. Like at my old school, they just want attention and affection. And I'm like, I'm Miss Hug, like I hug everybody. I'm hugging everybody, like I cry with them. But I noticed this year especially, like all I did was cry with my kids. Not because, like, yeah, the job is hard. Yeah, that's fine. But I cried because of all of the things that they're going through. It's just like, how can somebody this small, go so young, so innocent, go through all of this nonsense? Like, this is not fair. Like they'd come in, they'd be crying, I'm just hugging them and I'm crying too. I'm like praying for them secretly. I'm like, oh my God, you know, like they don't realize what I'm doing, but I'm just like praying over them. I'm like, God, just like have your way over this kid's life. Like if you don't, I don't know where this kid's gonna end up.
I know.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Yep. Oh God, tears on my heartstrings, because I really, like, I see those kids, I am those kids, I grew up with those kids. The reason I even got to meet Mrs. Hamada was because it was like some kind of presentation, and at the end of it, I don't know like what the whole premise was, I can't remember, but at the end of it, they asked certain questions. And they asked us all, I think, to like close our eyes or like not look, but they were going to ask a question. If you've ever been through it, like raise your hand. So like, have you ever seen domestic violence? Have you ever gotten hit yourself? Have you, just running through a couple of questions. And, some of us were asked to stay after, and that's when our groups formed. And so we had like, I guess, group therapy.
I don't know
if that's a group counseling. And that's how some of my best friendships in that school were created. Some of my friends who, I just thought were super cool, were also in my group and going through things. So it was a real, it was something that I could count on, kind of the way I feel about my therapy now every week. and, you know, just again, a safe space.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it makes you, I love group counseling because it's like, look, you're not alone, you know? Look, you could lean on these people. This is a safe place. Like, let it all out. We're here for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love that.
So do you go through anything when it comes to mental health, mental illnesses?
So, it's an interesting question because I'm not diagnosed with anything. I'm diagnosed with crazy, but that's, like, aren't we all?
Yeah.
I don't have anxiety, but I do experience lots of anxiety, lots of stress. Like, oh my God, after listening to your podcast, your last one, I was like, oh my God, like I do have some OCD traits. Like I have, like, I think we all do.
Yeah.
But like when you really like sit there, when you learn about mental health, I feel like you learn so much about yourself. So I'm like, I don't actually have any diagnosis, but I do experience lots of OCD. I mean, yeah, like OCD traits, like everything has to be super clean. Like that's where my OCD shows up. Everything has to be like perfect, immaculate.
Yeah.
Also, overthinking. I am the biggest overthinker. Insecurities.
Yeah.
Like body image issues. Like growing up, I was morbidly obese, like I told you before. 200 pounds in 8th grade. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me, what? Like, talk about unhealthy.
Yeah.
And that's still, even after losing like 70 pounds, when I got married, I was like 128.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was
So small.
Tiny. Granted, I've gained like 50 back, but it's fine. But like even when I was that small, like I just have that like, what is it? Body dysmorphia?
Yep,
like
exactly that.
And then or also the insecurities for me. Like I walk into a place to this day, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. They're talking about me. Like, oh my God, do I have something on my face? Like, I don't know about you, but that like,
yeah.
even at 30, I'm like, oh my God, when is this gonna go away?
No, yeah. I think we all, I think that's just the human experience, you know? I feel that when people are like, oh, I haven't been diagnosed, I'm like, all these things, all these terms, for the most part, are just emotions, right? Are just things that people go through. So, you know, even though you haven't been diagnosed, even if you were to be diagnosed in a month, you could go through a depression. You could, that's why they call it the Great Depression. It's not because everyone psychologically was in a depression. It was that everyone was feeling a depression from a specific time period, a specific event, a specific loss, right? So if, you know, you've ever had a loved one pass and you go through a depression, that doesn't mean you have clinical depression.
Right.
It just means you went through a depression. Anyone can. Anyone can feel anxiety throughout the day. Anyone can.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's, I think all within the scope of being human, especially because of all these other factors that we now have that weren't a part of the human experience before. I think it's very normal. Yeah. I think it's very normal. To what degree is just the individual variance, but I think it's so normal to feel that way, and that more often than not, everyone is feeling that way.
And I guess that's the beauty of being human.
Exactly.
Like we're gonna experience. I feel like if you don't experience any sort of anxiety or stress, or then you're just not you. You're not. No. Something ain't right in there. Like you're happy all the time.
You're just lying.
Yeah, you're literally.
She's fine. You're fine. Just
all right, she's gonna be all over you. Told you.
Just lay down. Can you lay down with us? I would love it if you just lay down with us. Do you know when you heard the term mental health for the first time?
I'll tell you what. It definitely wasn't in high school. Yeah. I feel like my whole school career, I knew nothing about like. Not that I knew nothing about, like, I've heard, you know, depression, obviously, anxiety, I've heard. But, like, nobody around me struggled with any of that. So, look. So, it's like, I think that I didn't really hear about mental health really until I got into college. When it's like my eyes were like open, like, oh my God, all this exists. Like, oh,
Right.
but it's very normal though, you know, like it's not like, oh, but they're not, just because they have this doesn't mean they're like crazy. Like they're fine.
Right.
They just struggle with this, you know? So it wasn't until college really.
I feel like I'm trying to think because, you know, elementary school, I did have that group. But when I think of the terms mental health, self-care, and mental illness, I don't think we ever even brought up those terms.
Girl, listen, it wasn't until Instagram came around.
That's what.
And I'm like, oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Self-care?
Yeah.
I like that.
And when those terms really got big, like, oh, buy this, bath bomb, self-care.
And can we talk about that? Because I feel like also people like glamorize like self-care, like it has to be getting a mani-pedi, like getting a massage. No, sometimes self-care is literally waking up early to just journal. Getting up early to just, I don't know, do an early prayer. I don't know, whatever you're into. Like, it doesn't have to be spending money. Self-care, oh, let's go on a shopping spree. No, that's not self-care. That's like self-sabotage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know, like, and it really aggravates me when like companies, they use that to their advantage. Like, oh, let's like make money off of it.
Just like everything else. I mean, we're just wrapping up June here. It's July 1st. But if we want to talk about anyone capitalizing off of anything, Pride Month is a big hoot.
Yeah.
for the companies. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's true.
So, yeah, it is a money grab for sure. I am, you know, I fall victim to it sometimes, but I view self-care as all forms of care for self. So for me, that includes getting to go to the dog park in the morning. For me, that includes I feel so much better about myself when I cook the food I'm eating rather than getting it out. So yes, I'm caring for myself and getting myself food from an outside source, but it feels like self-care when I cook it and I have a good time doing it and I like what I eat. So self-care to me, it's everything and anything.
Right.
Honestly.
It could be just organizing yourself before the week starts. Like making sure all your bills are like, everything is organized. You know what I mean? It's not just spending money.
Yeah,
it's not of yourself.
It's not just physical. It's not just tangible things. It could be emotion. It could be an action. It could be
self-care. Could be blocking somebody toxic from your life.
Oh my God! Yes, incredible. That's honestly self-care that might take more than a day to do. Yes. So when we say self-care day, that might take a while longer. But I mean, yeah, getting rid of someone toxic. To go back to, I'm just so happy to hear from someone, because I really don't, you know, I have younger family members in my life, but I don't really hear firsthand how things are going in the school system. And it feels like it's only up from where we started and from the little to no knowledge that we acquired about it when we were in school. Right. So it makes me happy that things are going in the right direction.
Thank God. We just need more. We need more school counselors.
As slow and as steady as it's going, you know, it's just, I don't know if it's like this everywhere in the world, but I feel like the U.S. is very aftercare oriented.
Absolutely.
So it's like, let's not help the kids, but let's complain about paying for jails, rehabilitation centers. Let's complain about the homeless on the street.
Absolutely.
Let's complain about the school shootings. I mean, not to be funny, right? Not to be too cynical, But it's not like someone's shooting up a playground. Like, they're going to schools.
Right.
There's trauma there, right? Like, no one's shooting up a movie theater. Like, you know, like, there is, it's either, you know, if you're going for mass amounts of people, you're going to go to a mall, you're going to go to somewhere, you know, right? But there has to be some kind of science behind the fact that these now older children are coming back to rain hell on this place. Why don't we start making this a better place to be?
So sick, man.
A better place to be, a more supportive, safe place to go. Like,
but you know what I don't understand? Like, I don't understand why, like, they go into the schools and they shoot all, like, oh my God, this, I hate saying this. Like, they shoot all these kids, but, like, what? I just don't understand, like, what do you get out of it? Like, it's not like they're going back to shoot the teachers who treated them like garbage. Like, what? I just don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, I do think I mean, for me, especially in elementary school, I was bullied severely. I had this big, huge hair. You know, they call me Chewbacca. Don't want to sit behind. Put Rennie in the back of the class. No one can see. She's too, you know, whatever. And I was also always usually the minority. Like, I went to a Catholic school K through, I want to say, like, 2nd grade, and my mom pulled me out because she was like, I'm not going to pay for you to come home crying every day, because they would just, you know, make fun of me. I think in the whole school K through 12 there was about 4 different minorities, 2 Asians, me, and then another light-skinned black kid. K through 12.
That's insane.
So yeah, I definitely, I would say, I lost my train of thought.
Probably just trauma, the trauma that they went through. That's probably why they're going back.
Yeah, so I would say, like, I remember the mean kids rather than the teachers who didn't do anything about it. Because they weren't, you know, I can only count on, like, one hand how many teachers who were outright mean to me, which that is another story in itself. But it wasn't so much mean, it was just letting it happen, right? So I'm focusing more on the kids who are saying the atrocities than the teacher who's just being blasé about it. But they are definitely part of the problem.
God. It's insane, though.
Yeah, for sure. Did you feel supported, like, through your schooling in any way? Like, did you need extra support?
I feel like I'm not one to talk because I was always, like, the goody two-shoes. I always wanted to please everyone. I was always, like, the top of the class and, like, you know, so polite, so kind, always, like, worked really hard. But that's also, like, a older child mentality. I mean, not older child, older sibling mentality. Like, I wanted to be the pleaser. Make sure my parent, like, I never wanted to, you know, upset my parents. So I never really struggled with, like, mean teachers or, like, any of that, just because of how I was.
Did kids get on you for being such a suck out?
No, actually, believe it or not. So my story is so weird because I grew up morbidly obese, like I said, but I guess I made up for it because I was, like, funny and outgoing and, like, I was friends with everyone. So yeah, no, I never got made fun of for it, luckily. But I was called, you know, in high school, my friends used to call me Virgin Mary. Like, like the goody two-shoes. Yeah. But that's just how, I don't know, that's just how I am. Like, to this day, Rennie, don't laugh at me. To this day, I've never drank
incredible.
a lick of anything. I've never smoked anything. Oh my God, speaking of, you're gonna laugh. The other day, no, 2 days ago, I had a dream that I ate a blunt. Wait, it gets better. But it looked like a pepperoni. I had a dream that I ate a blunt, and I was like, I was chewing it, and I'm like, so when is this gonna go into effect? Like, what's wrong with me?
Never, because eating it, that's not how it works, baby girl.
Like, I literally ate the blunt. I'm just like, so this is not what they said it would be? So stupid.
Oh my God. I love that. I think it's so admirable to be able to go through life and not need anything to curb what is this hellish place we live called Earth. No, but really, I mean, if I could do it, I would. If I could not do it, I would.
Yeah.
You're not missing out. It's just people trying to escape things.
Or fill a void.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, you're not missing out. For me, weed is my medicine, and I drink socially. But I could go completely without alcohol if I wanted to. And I'm sure, depending on the circumstances, I could go without weed too. I would just really have to be in a place where like everything is in my control, and as far as
girl,
my
that's never.
Yeah, right. Right. But there's a lot of things still at play where I'm like, I'm not gonna test it out now. I'd rather just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
What are some of the tools and maybe some of the sayings and things that you give to your kids?
So I like to do a lot of deep breathing. I always have like spa music playing in my, if it's not gospel, it's spa music. Like I feel like I'm in a spa. But I keep that playing to keep the atmosphere right. We do deep breathing. We do lots of like hands-on to help them, like, you know, like a lot of Play-Doh and fidgets. I'm obsessed with fidgets. Don't ask. And one thing that I always like, I'm always their number one cheerleader. I'm just like, you got this. You can do this. Be kind to yourself. That's my main thing. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Just lots of like speaking life into them, because you don't know, like I said, you don't know what they go through at home.
Right.
Just even like when I do door duty, oh my God, you look amazing today. Oh my God, I love your braid. You know, like always having something positive to say. That's key, because I feel like those moldable years, that's when you have to speak life into your kids. If you say, oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, like that, they take that with them, and then they're 30 years old walking into the store, everybody's talking about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So eventually when I have kids, that's definitely something that I'm going to practice. Like, speak life into them. Like, tell them about how awesome they are, how smart they are, how powerful they are. Like, I feel like it goes a long way.
Yeah. Just to play devil's advocate, do you think there's, like, the reverse? Do you think it's bad to almost, like, hype your kids up? Is there ever too much? Because then I'll be like, all right, your kid's not the best singer ever. Like she actually prodigy is a strong
word. I think there's a balance though. Like, you have to, like, you know, yes, you are amazing. Like, I don't know, you're amazing at this, but I think that, like, prepping them for the real world, like, there's gonna be people out there who talk about you. There's gonna be people out there who mock you
better than you.
Yeah, they're gonna mock you for being different. They're gonna just, like, prepping them. I think that's important, but reminding them that says nothing about you and everything about them. You know what I mean? And I wish I was taught that at an early age. I feel like.
So do I. You internalize a lot when you're not taught that from a young age. You feel like a lot is your fault, and that you should make up for those things. And I took a lot from a lot of people because of it, and I'm sure you did too. Of just, like, you know, not speaking out, and you know, as women of color, I think that's also something that we struggle with. Like, yes, we're expected to be loud, but then when we're loud, it's looked down upon, and you know, just like weird nuances like that where it feels like we can't be fully ourselves. And I just feel like it's important to just try to just be 100% you, because if you are at the end of the day and that's what you leave, you can never regret anything. I feel.
I agree.
You know, like, I'd rather be silly, goofy, embarrassing, maybe, you know, have a little bit too dark of humor or whatever, but all I know is people will be like, she was 100% ready.
Right.
That's all I can ask
And you either
for.
love me. I'd rather be hated for what I am than loved for what I'm not.
There it is.
Like, I've learned that, like, just be, you know what, at the end of the day, this is what I got. You like it? Cool. If not, even better. You just made my path a little bit easier to
That's the one.
manipulate.
That's the one. You already have a husband.
Maneuver. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter for you. But I always say, like, there was a turning point to where it was like, okay, I'm gonna act, dress, and seem a way so I can get this kind of guy. And then it was, oh no, I'm gonna be 110% me, because honey, it can get bad, and I want whoever who can stand the storm to be the one
and it
who's
makes it
with
easier
me.
for you, dude.
Yeah.
If you're just 100% yourself, you don't have to keep the show going.
No.
You're just you. It's just so much easier.
Yeah, and like you said, it just like sifts through the people who can't handle it, and you maneuver so nicely around them. Adios.
Ciao.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so every episode for the Give Yourself Grace series, I have to ask what Give Yourself Grace means to you, because I feel like it holds a different tone for everybody, and I just would love to know why you felt so inclined to buy the shirt.
So first of all, why did I feel inclined to buy the shirt? Because it's you, obviously. So let's put that out there. No, so what does it mean to me, give yourself grace? I think that it's embracing your now, right? Embracing your now and not letting...
We're embracing her now. That's her now.
Oh my God.
Give her grace. Give her grace. That's
Not-
her now right now.
Oh, she's good. She's good. It's appreciating where you are now and not letting how do I say this? Not letting where you want to be, like the distance from where you want to be, freak you out.
Yeah.
You know does that make
Yeah,
sense?
no,
like just
100%.
going with it and appreciating it and just living it in the moment, and you'll get there, but don't just do you right now.
Yeah.
Don't let that freak you out.
Oh my God, I love that. I
Right?
love that. Yeah.
What does it mean to you? Wait, what does it mean to you though?
To me, it means, you know, I am a perfectionist, right? Something that happens when you go through trauma and you live in a life of chaos is trying to control everything else in your grasp, right? So that was my handwriting, that was the color coding in my notes, that was color coding my closet before when I was single digit ages, right? So that's where it showed up for me, and just like lists on lists, and just this OCD, this, you know, this complex to want everything to be perfect, and to want to get an alarmingly long list of things done in a certain amount of time. And I remember even like as a little girl stressing myself out about cleaning my room and stuff, and it was just like, you know, now I'm trying to lean more into giving myself grace, because humans are not supposed to work 100% efficiently 100% of the time. We weren't designed for that. And although my brain thinks we were, I'm trying to lean into that. So there has been days as of recently where I've slept in until 7:30,
Imagine.
8 o'clock, and I don't spend another 30 minutes in my own head beating myself up about it. And then I'm like, then you just saved 30 minutes too. You spent a little more in bed, but then you save 30 minutes of self-hate talk that would have...
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, that I would have otherwise done. Like, I slept through my entire Sunday tag sale. Woke up at 5 p.m. and was dumbfounded. I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I was doing it with a friend. I felt so bad. I didn't even know what to say to her. I was just like, what do I even do? And I was just like, what would I have wanted what would I have wanted if the roles were reversed? What would I have wanted her to do?
Right.
Tell me the truth.
Yeah.
So I just recorded myself for 3 minutes, and I was like, this is my truth. I fell asleep. I had an edible last night. I'm so sorry. Like me. I feel like I'm exhausted, but also like it was probably the edible too. And I'm just so sorry. And I just like said it, and that was it. And I gave myself grace. And I took the dogs to the dog park. I sat down in nature, and I said, wow, I slept for a whole day. But I might have 3 text messages on my phone. No one cares. Like, it literally, like, I thought and I was like, if I took the day off, at least I could have been doing stuff. I was in bed. And I was like, no, bitch, give yourself grace.
No, definitely.
It's fine.
I feel like we're the same person living completely different lives. Like, all that OCD, all the lists, everything. I'm like, that's me. Oh, my God.
I know.
That's me, dude.
I know. That's what, you know, early on, a lot of people told me, social workers, psychologists, you know, you didn't have a lot in your control. So what you could control, you held on to it so tight. So yeah, that's what it means to me. Yeah. And yeah, just trying to lean into that more, like letting myself take a midday nap, you know, for an hour. And I don't know, just the little things.
And clearly, if you slept all day, your body was like it needed it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to listen to your body.
And it's crazy because, you know, I was a personal trainer and that's what I did for so long. And I know the science behind it. But, you know, you always give great advice when it's not to yourself.
Oh, of course. Of course. When it comes to you, like you're a superhero, you can do all things, and then you just crash.
And burn.
Slowly. And miserably.
But I had one last question for you that they might want to know if it so pertains to them. But I haven't ordered yet with that code. Is that code still live?
What code? Oh, it actually is. It's actually... No, it's not live anymore. But maybe I'll do a special one for this podcast.
Yeah, so this podcast goes live on Monday. So I was going to ask if you still had it going. I was going to purchase and then I was going to tell them to purchase.
Yeah. Wait, so what's Monday? What day is that?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a July 4th thing or what you were doing. Monday is the 4th.
Okay, so maybe we can do like a 2-week sale with your code.
Ooh.
RH Collective or something like that. Let's do RH Collective.
Yeah, let's do it.
All caps, RH Collective.
I love it.
You shoot how much % off? It's on you, boo.
Oh my.
These are your listeners. What
oh my God. I don't know. Give them 20? 20%?
Ooh, okay. Let's do it. 20% off. RH Collective, all caps, 20% off. I'll make the code once we're done here.
Oh my
And it'll be available on the 4th till, what's 2 weeks from?
The 4th until the 18th.
Okay. Let's do a 2-week
Exciting.
sale. I've never done a 2-week sale.
Oh, baby.
Get your coins ready.
I'm excited. I'm ready to purchase, baby.
Let's do it.
Oh my God, incredible. Okay, so I'll have all of that down below for you guys. All of Mandy's links and everything you need to know about Anita & Co.
Yes.
And until then, I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.
Bye. Say bye, Lou.